यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं सुखमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं समस्तदेवताभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराण आचार्येभ्यो नमः। परब्रह्मणे महाविष्णवे ब्रह्मणे सनक सनंदन सनातन संत कुमारेभ्यो नारदाय वेदव्यासाय शुकब्रह्मर्षये सूतमहामुने शौनकादिऋषिभ्यो अत्र्यादिऋषिभ्यो प्रह्लादादिभक्तजनेभ्यो आदित्यादिनवग्रह देवताभ्यो दशदिक्पालेभ्यो नमः। समस्तदेवताभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् एकादश स्कंधः मुक्तिर्हित्वा अन्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः। अथ सप्तविंशोऽध्यायः। पारायणम्। उद्धव उवाच क्रियायोगं समाचक्ष्व भवदाराधनं प्रभो यस्मात् त्वां ये यथार्चन्ति सात्वताः सात्वतर्षभ एतत् वदन्ति मुनयः मुहुर्निःश्रेयसं नृणां। नारदो भगवान् व्यासः आचार्योऽङ्गिरसः सुतः निःसृतं ते मुखाम्भोजात् यदाह भगवान् अजः पुत्रेभ्यो भृगुमुख्येभ्यः देव्यै च भगवान् भवः। एतद्वै सर्ववर्णानाम् आश्रमाणां च सम्मतं श्रेयसाम् उत्तमं मन्ये स्त्रीशूद्राणां च मानदः। एतत् कमलपत्राक्ष कर्मबन्धविमोचनं भक्ताय चानुरक्ताय ब्रूहि विश्वेश्वरेश्वर। श्रीभगवानुवाच न हि अन्तो अनन्तपारस्य कर्मकाण्डस्य चोद्धव संक्षिप्तं वर्णयिष्यामि यथा वदनुपूर्वशः। वैदिकस्तान्त्रिको मिश्रः इति मे त्रिविधो मखः त्रयाणाम् ईप्सितेनैव विधिना मां समर्चयेत्। यदा स्वनिगमेनोक्तं द्विजत्वं प्राप्य पूरुषः यथा यजेत मां भक्त्या श्रद्धया तन्निबोध मे। अर्चायां स्थण्डिलेऽग्नौ वा सूर्ये वाप्सु हृदि द्विजे द्रव्येण भक्तियुक्तोर्चेतु स्वगुरुं माममायया। पूर्वं स्नानं प्रकुर्वीत धौतदन्तोऽङ्गशुद्धये उभयैरपि च स्नानं मन्त्रैर्मृद्ग्रहणादिना सन्ध्योपास्त्यादिकर्माणि वेदेनाचोदितानि मे। पूजां तैः कल्पयेत् सम्यक् संकल्पः कर्म पावनेम। शैली दारुमयी लौहि लेख्या च सैकति मनोमयी मणिमयी प्रतिमाष्टविधा स्मृता। चलाचलेति द्विविधा प्रतिष्ठा जीवमन्दिरम् उद्वासावाहनेन स्तः स्थिरायाम् उद्धवार्चने अस्थिरायां विकल्पः स्यात् स्थण्डिले तु भवेत् द्वयं स्नपनं तु अविलेप्यायाम् अन्यत्र परिमार्जनं द्रव्यैः प्रसिद्धैर्मद्यागः प्रतिमादिषु अमायिनः भक्तस्य च यथा लब्धैः हृदि भावेन चैव हे स्नानालङ्करणं प्रेष्ठम् अर्चायाम् एव तूर्ध्वा स्थण्डिले तत्त्वविन्यासः वह्ना वाज्यप्लुतं हविः सूर्ये चाभ्यर्हणं प्रेष्ठं सलिले सलिलादिभिः श्रद्धयोपाहृतं प्रेष्ठं भक्तेन मम वार्यपि भूर्यप्यभक्तोपहृतं न मे तोषाय कल्पते गन्धो धूपः सुमनसः दीपोन्नाद्यं च किं पुनः शुचिः सम्भृतसंभारः प्राग्दर्भैः कल्पितासनः आसीनः प्राग् उदग्वार्चेत् अर्चायाम् अथ सम्मुखः कृतन्यासः कृतन्यासां मदर्चां पाणिनां मृजेत् कलशं प्रोक्षणीयं च यथावदुपसाधयेत् तत् अद्भिर्देवयजनं द्रव्याणि आत्मानमेव च प्रोक्ष्य पात्राणि त्रीण्यद्भिः तैस्तैर्द्रव्यैश्च साधयेत् पाद्यार्घ्याचमनीयार्थं त्रीणि पात्राणि देशिकः हृदा शीर्ष्णा च शिखया गायत्र्या चाभिमन्त्रयेत् पिण्डे वायुवग्निसंशुद्धे हृत्पद्मस्थां परां मम आण्वीं जीवकलां ध्यायेत् नादां ते सिद्धभावितां तयात्मभूतया पिण्डे व्याप्ते सम्पूज्य तन्मयः आवाह्यार्चादिषु स्थाप्य न्यस्ताङ्गं मां प्रपूजयेत् पाद्योपस्पर्शार्हणादीन उपचारान् प्रकल्पयेत् धर्मादिभिश्च नवभिः कल्पयित्वासनं मम पद्मम् अष्टदलं तत्र कर्णिकाकेसरोज्ज्वलम् उभाभ्यां वेदतन्त्राभ्यां मह्यं तु भयसिद्धये सुदर्शनं पाञ्चजन्यं गदासीषु धनुर्हलान् मुसलं कौस्तुभं मालां श्रीवत्सं चानुपूजयेत् नन्दं सुनन्दं गरुडं प्रचण्डं चण्डमेव च महाबलं बलं चैव कुमुदं कुमुदेक्षणं दुर्गां विनायकं न्यासं विश्वक्सेनं गुरून् सुरान् स्वे स्वे स्थाने तु अभिमुखान् पूजयेत् प्रोक्षणादिभिः ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीभागवत शरणं मम श्रीसद्गुरु शरणं मम श्रीसूत शरणं मम श्रीशुकदेव शरणं मम श्रीव्यास शरणं मम श्रीनारद शरणं मम श्रीकुमार शरणं मम श्रीब्रह्मा शरणं मम श्रीविष्णु शरणं मम श्रीपरब्रह्म शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम शरणं मम शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव ॐ मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् ॐ स्वर्गे सत्ये च कैलासे वैकुण्ठे नास्ति अयं रसः अतः पिबन्तु सद्भाग्याः मामामुञ्जदगर्हिषित ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ श्रीकृष्णपरब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् एकादशस्कन्धः मुक्तिर्हित्वान्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः। अथ सप्तविंशोऽध्यायः। उद्धव उवाच श्रीभगवानुवाच Saluting to the entire Bhagavatacharyas, our own Acharyas, entire Rishimuni Guru Devata Parampara, all the Bhaktas of Bhagavata Puranam, also all the avatars, our own Swaguru and Bhagavata Rupa Krishna Paramatma. So far, whatever the number of stories we studied, or topics we studied, or the skandhas, the chapters we studied, whether we literally remember every sloka, every topic or not, but the purpose of studying this Bhagavata Purana, for that matter, any of the Puranas, is these 4-5 topics. First one is by some or the other means remembering the Lord. Second is the mind should be focused only in the memory of the Lord. Third one is in the given process trying to do all the upasana ityadi of the Lord. Fourth, having done sufficient upasana, learning the art of dedicating ourselves to the Lord. With all this, becoming closer, nearer to the Lord. Then, in the last two steps, meditating on the absolute nature of the Lord. Then, the last one is becoming one with Him. Becoming one with Him is called as becoming Bhagavata. So, ena kena prakarena harihi smartavyaha. First one. Second one is tasmad kenapi upayena manaha krishne niveshayetu. Third one is upasanam kuryatu. Fourth one is samarpanam kuryatu. Fifth one is satyam param dhimahi. Sixth one, merging in him to experience we to be not separate from Bhagavan. Means I as an individual separate from the Lord, having these limited upadhis, taking the world to be real, struggling in this world to survive, while doing so, struggling with every other entity like me. All these cease to exist. What remains is I am one with him. I am totally of Bhagavan, called as भागवत मैं हो गया. तो मुझे मेरे लिए ना कुछ करना है ना पाना है, और मुझे भगवान को समर्पण करना है. That is accomplished. Now I am left at his feet. May he do whatever he wants through this upadhi. This is actual mukti. In the mukta sthiti, we experience our darshana or oneness with Paramatma, and through this upadhi, what has to happen, the Bhagavan decides. These are the 5-6 things. If we are able to grasp with so far learned Bhagavata or heard Bhagavata, I think we are not missing much. And all this theory definitely should become natural practice in us, remembering the Lord and putting the mind in the Lord. Remembering is efforts. Putting the mind in the Lord is little effortless. Then becoming closer to the Lord through variety of the upasanas. Then contemplating, meditating on His truth, on His true essential nature. Then that nature, my nature is one, therefore I and him are not two. Tattva drushti, we both are one. Then the vyavahara drushti, he alone is expressing through me. At that highest level, even inhaling, exhaling in this body is done by him to sustain his own upadhis of these panchakoshas, even the jiva in this, so that he wants to achieve his own rupa of this jiva bhava, something in this world. See, that type of total bhagavata ho jana, surrender ho jana. At that level, whoever the bhaktas are there, through them only the beautiful, simple words of highest wisdom come. They just come as simple words, but they become the eternal poetry. They become the eternal, sermons. They become eternal teachings for all the future bhaktas jivas to come. So these are the few things let us keep always in our mind. And are we getting convinced about this? And are we really practically doing these things that way? And to enhance ourselves, strengthen ourselves in these convictions only, we have to keep on studying. Same Bhagavata again and again, or more and more Puranas. In either the case, we are always in touch with this Shastra Jnanam, so that we are not going out of away from the track. Out of track, if you go, then again to come back, it takes lot of time. Therefore, people in some cases, today also another person, some days they just went for some program, in that they miss the classes. Now they come back, they say, Swamiji, mood nahi ban raha hai class sunne ko. Ab nahi banega. Out of track you go, again you have to do lot of upasana, prarthana, then Bhagwan gives. When he gives easily, that time while getting that, using that opportunity which is given easily, we have to make our conviction so strong that even when that opportunity appears to be missing, we should hold it without missing. That is what our effort. Then only we are called sadhakas. This topic we are seeing almost every day in one or the other classes. Now Uddhavaji is like this. He is going on asking, going on listening, going on understanding, and is missing nothing. And the inevitability of when Bhagavan has to go happens, still Bhagavan never goes away from him, because having gone to Badrinath, he will do all sadhana so soon that he will experience Bhagavan with him all the time, except the Krishna Rupa and Avatara, because the Avatar has to conclude and go. Other than that, in all other forms, Bhagavan is always with Uddhavaji. That's how he is going to. For that only he is learning all these aspects. He himself is asking and getting the answers. Now in the 26th one, for the Vyatireka and Anvaya, for this Vairagya and Mumukshvata, the Pururava Upakhyanam, as well as Bhagavan Krishna's teaching of Satsanga Mahima, we have seen. Thereafter, we have to now practically do the variety of upasanas by which we will practically near to the experience the proximity to Paramatma. In that proximity, as just now said 2 minutes back, we feel that all these upadhis are his only. We know that all the upadhis are for him only, and we live life in such a way that these are being used by him. To reach to that level of total surrender, allowing him to sing the song through us, the variety of upasanas done through which all mama, all aham, all mahyam are offered to him. Mama means mine, mahya means to me, aham means me. So me, man to me, for me. Me means aham, mine means mine, mera, mama. Ahanta, mamata and mahya means for me. These three are totally offered to him through all the upasanas. Clear? Upasana is a prakriya by which in any given idol as a support, we remember the infinite Paramatma, and through this medium, by the given processes by our Rishi Muni, we do upasana in such a way that to me is offered to him, mine is offered to him, me is offered to him. In Vedanta, this is achieved through contemplation. In that heat of contemplation, the pseudo jiva, who actually has no existence, is dissolved. In the dissolution of the jiva, the Paramatma, who is unnecessarily as if hidden because of the predominance of this non existing pseudo jiva, he gets revealed. That's what happens in Vedanta. So in the bhakti, voluntarily we surrender. In the Vedanta, through vichara, we dissolve aham, mama, and mahyam. We come to know everywhere that truth alone is there. Now Uddhavji wants to know all those prakriyas of upasana. So therefore, with authority, with his strong conviction that he will do it after knowing from the Lord, and with also putting in front of Lord that these are sanctioned by so many rishis munis, and this is said to be the only means for attaining the highest. Oh Lord, because of that only I am asking you. And what is asking? Kriya yogam samachakshva. Be listening attentively. While I chant, all what is said yesterday, day before, you should be able to remember. Then it becomes easier for me also, good for you also to remember. So, Kriya Yogam Samachakshva Bhavad Aradhanam Prabho Yasmat Tvam Ye Yatharchanti Satvataha Satvatarshava. The Bhakti Yoga developing process of practical doings of yoga, Kriya, in which the Archana Ityadi are done, all are put together is called as your Aradhana. Samachaksha, please exhaustively tell me, convincingly tell me, in all details tell me, inspiringly tell me, and make me take the initiative and see to it that you are with me to make me do this Aradhana Archana viewers so continuously that I am complete in my Kriya Yoga Sadhana, as a result of which I see you and you alone in and out of me. That is the meaning of first mantra. Second one, etad vadanti munayaha muhu nishreyasam runam. All the munis say that through this Kriya Yoga Archana, doing Aradhana to the Paramatma is the giver of ultimate good, called as Nishreyasam. Muhu Nishreyasam Runam. Runam, for human beings, this is the best thing to be done, this is the best thing to be achieved. With this thing done of Bhagavad Aradhana, and when we become complete Aradhaka of Bhagavan, in that only all the three things, one, the Rakshana of ours, second is the Palana Poshana, Sukha giving of other ours, third, giving us the Mukti Anubhava, all these three Bhagavan blesses us with. पहले तो we have to be protected. He will protect it from everything. That is called as Abhayam Sarva Bhutebhya Dadami. At the second level, he alone does the second thing of Yoga Kshemam Vahami. Third one, the Moksha Ishyami. So, all the three. Abhayam Dadami, Yoga Kshemam Vahami, as well as Moksha Ishyami. These three Lord wants to do to every Jiva. The Jiva has to allow the Lord to do all this. That stage of allowing the Lord to protect us, to provide us with all this loka and that loka sukha, and to give us mukti. What we have to do, all that are done in this Kriya Yoga, Bhagavan's Aradhana or Archana. So that is what the munis we have done, they told. Etad vadanti munayaha muhuhu nishreyasam runam. Who are those munis? Vyasa, Narada, Bhagavan Vyasa, Acharya, Angiras Sutaha. Sakshat Naradji, Deharshi, the Sakshat Vedavyasa ji, giver of all the Purana Itihasa, Bhagavan's Jnana Amsha Kalavatara, and the Brahaspati ji, Angirasa Putra, who is the Deva Guru. All of them heard from their respective gurus, and they have done all this Aradhana Bhagavan only throughout life, because of which, by the grace of Lord only, they are protected from falling down, they are given with all the powers, position, sukha, ityadi. Finally, through the Jnanam, they were given mukti. So, through the Brahma Jnana, the mukti, and by providing them the sukha of this and that loka, giving all the comforts, and by protecting them from the world around as well as from their own upadhis, Maya, Bhagavan has blessed them. Therefore, again and again, unanimously, the Naradji, Vyasaji, Brahaspatiji have endorsed this sadhana to be the giver of Nishreyasa to all the human beings. Having known that only, that I am asking you, Samachakshva. I have no vagueness regarding what I am asking you and why I am asking you and how and why it is so great. I want Nishreyasam, it gives Nishreyasam. And the authorities, Vyasa Narada and Angira Ityadi Ari Brahaspati. Again and again they said. Again they said means all the time they said this only. Anybody comes to them, what you want? I want this or that. Don't ask for this or that, ask for the Nishreyasam. Okay, sir, I want Nishreyasam. Do you want Nishreyasam? Yeah. Oh, yes, sir, I want. Then how to get it, sir? By Bhavadaradhanam, by doing Aradhana to the Lord. Anybody coming, they told only this. They also achieved it. In short, the whole universe is run by the great grand powers. All those powerful individuals are nothing but the upadhis or servants of Bhagavan. Because of them, the world is running, Lord is working through them. They, by allowing the Lord to work through them, they fulfill themselves, they fulfill the work outside, they fulfill the Lord's mission through them. That is what is becoming Bhagavata. So beautiful it is. This is a simple thing. I have to withdraw from my own individual personal projects. I have to involve in all the projects indicated by the Lord, and the only project Lord gives me is to surrender to Him completely. Once I surrender, I become Bhagavata. What is required for me, He takes care. Thereafter, He accomplishes His projects through me. And what are His projects? Again, the same thing. Whoever are the jivas are there, again they have to be turned towards Paramatma. That work is the ultimate work the Lord wants to accomplish through His Bhaktas Bhagavatas. And thus all the jivas are taken back to their own sources called as Bhagavan, and thus they are given mukti. That is what is the actual game to be played. The real game, the joyful game, in which there is never a defeat, always victory. Any game other than that is self-created. It all creates only troubles to Bhagavan because his work is not accomplished, to us also because we are going out of track, to the world because we are not able to justify our stay in the world because we are not becoming Lord's instruments. In this way, we should understand. Apart from these three authorities, who are the other authorities who have practiced and endorsed the glory of Bhagavan's Aradhana through Kriya Yoga? You yourself. Your Prathama Jatinita Brahmadeva. And the Brahmadeva taught to his own rishis, putras called Bhrugu Adi, Manu Adi, to all of them, and Dakshadi, Prajapati. Bhrugu are the rishis, Manu are the Manus. Then the Prajapatis, Daksha Ityadi. All of them are taught by Brahmadeva only to do the Kriya Yoga Samaradhana or Aradhana Paramatma, so that they are directly in tune with Lord. They become His instruments and they are spread for the long time in this universe and are spread at everywhere, continuously in the subtle form accomplishing the Bhagavan given job. The Bhagavan's given up job is to guide all the jivas. Clear? So not only these, the one more, the greatest of authorities, Bhagavan Shiva and Mata Parvati. Bhagavan Shiva also taught this Aradhana Paddhati only to Parvati Mata as a source and means for the Nishreyasam. Nishreyasam, again I told you, all the three you take in that. The protection from falling down, accomplishing of the Sukha Bhoga at all levels, ultimately getting identified with Paramatma, becoming one with it. This is what we are seeing in our Taittiriya Upanishad also, right from beginning, if we keenly observe. With every of the Anuvakas, Upasana that is taught. When they were telling us about the Falashruti, we can see the protections. We can see so many of the results of this world and the other world given to us. As we continue the Upasana to the level of contemplation on Sachidananda, we get the Ananda of that Sadbrahma, Chidbrahma also. All of that is given when we follow these Upasanas and Aradhanas. See, when you see that third Upasana, Sagamhitaya Upanishadam Vyakyasyamaha, then he is given with all those results of Apnoti Swarajyam. They are all at the sixth Anuvaka. In the third Anuvaka, we have seen a variety of the results that accrue to the Upasaka that done. Then when we came to the fourth and fifth, there also the results are given. The one who is asking Medha, the one who is asking for the Dhanam. So too, the fifth and sixth Anuvaka, when we have done the Vyarti Upasanas, sarvabhavam apnoti swarajyam and all. So it is in Bhagavan's kindness and in our own benefit, we have to consciously follow the techniques given in our shastras of upasana, smarana, dhyana, so that we don't go out of track, we don't slip out of Bhagavan's protecting blessing zone. May we not do that with the given freedom. That is why what is the meaning of crossing Maya is with all the given freedom. Listen carefully this sentence. You may listen it 1,000 times, but still it will not click unless Guru and Bhagavad Kripa comes. What is that? The entire essence of all the study Shastra is with all the freedom given. When we use all that freedom only to reach to the Lord, only to serve the Lord, then we have done the best thing. This is called as crossing Maya. माया को पार करना मतलब दिया हुआ सारे स्वतंत्रताओं से भगवान का ही आराधना करना, ना कि भगवान से दूर जाना. दिस इज कॉल्ड क्रॉसिंग माया. दैट्स व्हाट मामेवये प्रपद्यन्ते थ्रू ऑल योर पर्सनैलिटी लेयर्स. प्रपद्य शरणागति. शरणागति मीन्स not keeping anything with us as ours. And what are the things which we keep as ours? All the upadhis along with ahankara. In Sharanagati, all of them are offered to him. Naturally, when everything is offered to Lord, only when we are away from the Lord, the Maya attacks us. When we are into the Lord with all our upadhis through that prapatya or Sharanagati, Maya has no chance. It is like this. Same thing for this, same example for two explanations. The negative as well as positive. The negative is what? When we are totally dubofied in Maya ocean. When we in the ocean of Maya, when we are fully dubofied, then the Bhagavan who wants to help us, he cannot help. Because डूब गया. How can he help us? ये थोड़ा ऊपर ऊपर है, हाथ पकड़ने को है, हम हाथ में दिया, कुछ किया, तो he can पकड़ो and pull us out. But total डूब हो गया, भगवान cannot do anything. फंस गए. Most of us are like that. Now the same example for the positive thing also. That when we are pura dubofied in our bhakti to the Lord, there is no chance for the Maya to catch us. It goes on कोशिशिंग. He goes on trying how to catch this fellow. But he is not available. इसका कॉलर टाई कुछ नहीं मिल रहा. क्योंकि ये पूरा ही फंस गयो ये भगवान के भक्ति में. डूब गयो, not फंस गयो. You understand? Decision is ours. अब थोड़ा ऊपर थोड़ा नीचे है तो किसको हम ज्यादा मौका दे रहे हैं वो हमको उस तरफ खींचेंगे. If we give more मौका to the Lord, Lord will pull us towards him. मुझे डोर कोई खींचे तेरी ओर दिए जाए, ऐसे कुछ गाना है हिंदी में. If our importance given to Maya is more, Maya will pull us towards that. And in this mediocre middle stage, hundreds and thousands of lives we go through. That's how in our everyday schedule, sometime we give our hands to the Lord, Lord pulls us into satsanga. Another time we give our hands to the Maya, Maya pulls us into the world through the upadhis. हर दिन यही चल रहा है. Then we have to slowly increase, giving more chance to Bhagavan, so that he will pull us more and more towards him. Less chance to Maya, so that we are less troubled by Maya. This is what consciously we have to do. Just like in the grass place, when it is put a danger board, यहाँ जाओगे तो 1000 10,000 वाट का बिजली है, वाट लग जाएगा. Or it is a very confidential zone. Any trespassers will be prosecuted and jailed. Therefore, don't go. When you see those posts or signs, or the road is very bad, you will die if you go this way, take diversion. Don't we do that? In the same way, we ourselves have to put a border. This is the way to Maya and my destruction. So I only have to put board. I only have to study the board. I only have to take diversion from that Maya path to the Bhagavan path. There also we have to put a border, the path to divinity. So adopt this path and go. This is how slowly we have to reduce giving chance to Maya to pull us. We have to give more and more chance to the Lord to protect us. It is in our hands and it is in our interest. All the Shastras try their best to convince us in this only. If in this we are convinced deeply from the core of our heart, then we are helping ourselves, we are protecting ourselves from ourselves. Okay, so Narado Bhagavan Vyasaha, then Acharya Angiraha Sutaha. Not only that, Nisrutam te Mukhambojat Yadaha Bhagavan Jaha. Same this your Aradhana is the one came out of your mouth also for the sake of your son Brahmadeva as an order or direction guidance for Upasana. That he practiced and got benefit and he taught the same thing to his children Bhrigu Adi Rishi. So Bhrigu Adi Rishis first should not fall down. Bhrigu Adi Rishis second should sustain in their Rishi position. Third, Bhrigu Adi Rishis have to reach to identify with the Lord. Fourth, the Bhrigu Adi Rishis have to become instruments in the hands of Lord. This is what is for everyone. And to all of the jivas, to achieve all these four things, the common thing is Bhavad Aradhanam through the process of Kriya Yoga. So now I am here as a Swami. So I should not fall from this level. I should sustain as my position as Swami. I must identify myself with the Paramatma. Then I must allow Paramatma to express through me, or I must become his instrument. You are also listeners, audience. So you should not fall from that level. As a wonderful Jignasa and Sadhaka, you have to continue and you have to discover the Lord in yourself, then become instruments in the hands of Bhagavan. Every jiva will have to accomplish these four things. All those are achieved by Bhavad Aradhanam. When we are doing Aradhana of the Lord, as he said, he does the Rakshana. Abhayam Sarva Bhutebhya Dadami. Then when he continues to do the Aradhana, he tells us what are our dharmas and makes us do those dharma. And at the next level of the Bhakti Dharma, the Jnana Dharma also, he induces in us, and through doing the Bhakti Jnana, we recognize our identity with him. With that, our particular personal journey to reach the destination is over. Then we now are in his hands, he will use for the world's service. वेरी क्लियर. एक नहीं, 100 बार इसको सुनना, 100 बार मनन करना, 100 बार इसको हृदय में धारणा करके, because this is the ultimate truth and this is only we have to convince about, this is only we have to do. When we do this, we are liberated. So nisrutam te mukham bhojat yadaha bhagavanajaha. Even Brahmadeva also, having heard from your nectarine mouth these things, means Bhagavan Brahma also did. He taught it is to, Bhagavan Narayana has taught it to Brahmadeva. Brahmadeva did it. Then subsequently, he taught this only to his children Bhrigu Adi. So by this, what is to be understood? Every parent should practice this, and every parent should taught this as the most important thing to the next generation. Devoid of the attitude of Aradhana, anything done on any name is samsara. Devoid of attitude of Aradhana, anything done is samsara, anything done is we are caught up in the web of Maya. Think about it in a expanded manner. Details I am not going to say, but each of you can think. That's why it's a duty of parents to tune every children to the divine by their own practice. Thereafter, beta artha chahiye, God. Kama chahiye, God. Dharma chahiye, God. Moksha chahiye, God. That is why in the fourth skandha, while seeing all the four these kathas, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, the dhruva upakhyanam and other three upakhyanams, we have seen that all the four purusharthas are achieved only by bhakti. Raja Pruthu Charitra, Dhruva Charitra, then this one more that Charitra. Four of the things we have seen. In that fourth skandha, four upasana, four purusharthas are only in gaining Bhagwan. अर्थ भी भगवान है, धर्म भी भगवान है, कामना भी भगवान है, मोक्ष भी भगवान. बढ़िया. Get convinced about this more and more. At this level, our disturbed mind, our very sthula intellect, both of them slaves to the Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha because of vasanas through senses and the body, they don't have even the capacity to listen this. Like when you are utterly diseased, the disease removing medicine लेने के लिए भी हमारे पास ताकत नहीं होता. You know, when you are a weak person, strength giving juices, and that also you can't take. We, in the worldliness, having becoming so busy, have weakened ourselves to be a spiritual seeker to such an extent that the strength giving spirituality also, we don't have strength to listen or gain. That's how we are all. You know, slaves to the mind, dull-witted intellect, confused mind, and with these two slaves, these two are slaves to the vasanas, the indriyas, and deha and the world. And that rotten personalities we are. We have to accept the facts. Then slowly we have to cleanse us and make ourselves so pakka beautiful. We become really sadhaka for ourselves, instruments in the Lord's hands and servants of the world. Fulfill our life. So putrebhyo bhrugumukyebhyah. Then in the other track, Devyaicha Bhagavan Bhavaha. To Mata Parvati, Bhagavan Shiva also taught the Aradhana of Rama only, Aradhana of Vishnu only. Because this Bhagavata is Vaishnava Purana. So in this, the Vishnu, in the Shiva, Parvati are shown to be the Vishnu Bhaktas. And when you read the study the Shiva Purana, there Lakshmi Narayana are shown to be the Shiva Parvati Bhakta. In both cases, the authority is for telling us become Aradhaka Archaka Bhagwan by knowing all the Kriya Yoga steps and having known theory, physically, practically involved in them to fulfill the theory in the knowledge, in the practice as well as experience. Now, yesterday we also saw this one very important thought. Etadvai sarvavarananam ashramanam ja sammatam. Sammatam means what? Samyak iti matam. Samyak means what? The best way of living by all the varnins and by all the ashramins. And we have to add two or three things to this. What are they? To all the varnins and all ashramins of all the periods of history. Not only Kruta, Treta and the Dwapara. In fact, this भागवत जब दिया गया लिखा गया तब तक तो द्वापर युग तो खत्म होकर कली प्रवेश किया ना. Is it not? Bhagavata is given to Parikshit ji that is after Kali entered. Kali के कारण ही तो शाप लगा ना उनको. Therefore, in Kali Yuga, this is to be understood as to be more practical. Because Kali Yuga के लोगों के लिए दिया है. Therefore, people can be in any suited, booted, coated form. They may be in any part of the world with all any type of cultures, dresses, addresses, eating habits. All said and done, all the people in general in the world fall in any of these four categories. There is no fifth one. Either they are intellectual class called as Brahmanas, or there are ruling class called as Kshatriyas, or there are trading class called as Vaishya, or there are serving class called as Shudra. Anywhere you go, you will find them. They may not name it like that. Name is secondary, but the people without these four units, the society can't go ahead. So too, in an individual's life, from his birth till death, every individual, whether he recognizes it or not, he goes to these 4 ashramas: the period of study, the period of responsibilities, the period of withdrawal, and the period of uniting with the ultimate. So the period of study education is brahmacharya ashrama. Period of the responsibility to himself, family, world is grahastha ashrama. The time period of withdrawal is vanaprashna ashrama. Tuning, yoking to the ultimate is sannyasa ashrama. तो कब जब तक ह्यूमन लाइफ रहेगा अर्थ में, आप नाम दो या ना दो, लोग इन दिस 4+4 कैटेगरीज में ही होते हैं. कैच दिस पॉइंट फर्स्ट. देन to all of them outside in whatever the varna and ashrama they are and conducting themselves, inside what is the only support for them to sustain in those ashrama dharmas, varna dharmas, and even to grow even beyond all of them, the only technique is they have to practice the Bhagavad Aradhana. So to a brahmachari or even Shudra, or here Vaishya, or here the Grahastha, or here Kshatriya or the Vanaprasthi, here the Sannyasi or their Brahmana, सबको जीवन में एक ही सम्मतम, what used here, सम्मतम, एक ही चीज उनको प्रोटेक्ट करेगा when he is tuning to the Lord. Again, depending on the period, depending on the location or the place, the paddhati of aradhana may differ, the name given to the Lord may be differing, but the Lord is to be accepted everywhere. And with the traditionally given paddhati, the aradhana of the Bhagavan has to be done. That alone is protects. Listen carefully. These varnins and ashramins, their evolution, and through their participation, the world is also blessed or protected. So the problem is not whether there are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grahastha, Astra, Sannyas. The problem is, are they living life disciplinedly to contribute to themselves and society? Clear? Third one, then who are the ones who healthily live for themselves, contribute to society with whatever the Varna they belong to? Only those who are continuously protected and blessed by the divine. And whom the divinity blesses and protects, so those who are continuously doing his aradhana. And when one sector of people don't do the aradhana, one sect of people, then they are denied of the blessings. Therefore, they become chaotic to themselves and they become chaotic to the whole scheme of the happenings in the world. Second, in two people, if that way they do, that not doing the aradhana of Lord, not getting guidance and blessings from him, then half of the system and half of the public, both will be destroyed. Now, if it is in like Kali Yuga, where all the varnas, all the ashramas are totally forgetting the true way of aradhana and upasana, then everything is chaotic inside and outside. Inside, in all the periods of age, ब्रह्मचर्य गृहस्थ वान सन्यास आश्रम में सड़ा हुआ ही जिंदगी में जीता रहूंगा of only अर्थ काम. So in the whole world, because each individual all put together only totality, no? The whole society is made up of units called as individuals. When the individuals are this way misguided, totally in a unblessed way because of non-aradhana to the God, the cumulative effect of all of them called as society also become such way dirty and criminal. This is what we see around. That is the meaning of Varnanam Ashramanam cha etadvai sammatam. So every Varna Ashrama people, they have to protect themselves from falling. They have to grow. They have to fulfill their ashrama vyavastha properly, by which they serve the society in a beautiful manner and then reach to their own ultimate emancipation. All of that is done when they are continuously empowered by the divinity within and without. That divine empowers within and without only when we do aradhana. This we must understand. Therefore, if a country has to ideally grow in all aspects, right from childhood till death, and in every of the departments, the first thing that is to be taught to all of them is first to start your day with Aradhana of Bhagavan. Then throughout the day, what you are supposed to do, scrupulously do all of that again as an aradhana to Bhagavan. Toward the end of the day, offer all these things done to the Lord as an aradhana and request Him to give another opportunity the next day. If Bhagavan gives next day an opportunity, again early morning start with aradhana. Throughout the day, his aradhana. Night, offer everything done to him as an aradhana and relax at his feet or in his lap. Only to be woken up by him again next day, to be used by him for his own creation's beautification. You know, this is the highest matured way of living. And this is what all Shastras talk about. And denying the Shastras, therefore denying this highest evolving wisdom, each of us are doing whatever the mind is fancying and imagining and projecting. Without the rhyme and reason, without any authority, without any logic, and with the full definite consequence of individual destruction as well as total destruction. अब हम एक्सपेरिमेंट भी कर सकते हैं. You start a small unit of some work, 10 people in their agenda. जब when you are taking them as employees, along with all the signatures you take for following rules regulation, in bold letters in the beginning only mention, in this office if you want to join a worker, morning only we do puja, you have to participate. Throughout the day, you have to do the work as a worship to God. Evening, offer it to the Lord, come next day. And this should be done from the heart. If anybody doesn't do it or do it as it an action not truly, they are removed from the job. And those are intensely, sincerely doing, they'll be assessed, and according to their this attitude of being a devotee, they will be promoted. Make these rules and see. You know how many things will happen? You know, every jiva actually has these potentialities in them, but they are not asked anywhere to do this. They are not inspired anywhere to do this. Now, in this way, when you ask them and inspire them through incentives, and truly they do, the consequences. First and foremost, in them, the devotional fear will rise. Devotional fear. Bhakti Sahita Bhayam. With that, every day they scrupulously do all the works because the fear of God and also pleasing the God. Thus, every one of them become the workers come devotees. Because of that excess, that beautiful practice of devotion, the fighting mutually between each others, the competition, all of them will go away. In fact, that entire form becomes a well knit together, beautiful family and united together with the divinity. And this happens every day in India in thousands of places where a group of all those mothers, they sit in front of Mother Lalita Devi and do the upasana, sit in front of Vishnu or Bhagwan Shiva or Mata Rani. What they are doing is this only. You understand? The only difference is there they do actual upasana Paramatma. In these places, along with upasana Bhagwan, the other factory works or whatever the work you are employing them for, that has to be done. See how well knit they are all, how divine their faces are, how divine their hearts are. Thank God because of Rishi Muni Parampara, in spite of this wretched Kali Yuga, through somebody or the other, these traditions of bringing the groups put together and through them the divine work is being continued. बहुत बढ़िया है. So the Varnashrama is there throughout creation. You may call it different names, you may not give the names. But whoever in it, whatever Varna or Ashrama level, for them not to fall, for them to grow to ultimate, for them to allow the divinity to function through them, the common thing continuously to be done is the Aradhana of the Lord. That is what Sammatam means. Varna etadvai sarva varnanam ashramanam cha sammatam. Not only that, Shreyasam Uttamam. It is the Uttama Shreyas, the ultimate Bhagavad Anubhuti giving sadhana. Manye, I considered it, sir. If there is any doubt, please correct me. And two category of people are many times denied of other types of traditional Vedic ways of worship. But this ones which Bhagavan is going to say, Stri Shudranam cha Manada. So Manadaha is both ways it is studied. Oh Manadaha means what? The Lord who is a giver of value importance even to the Stri and Shudra if they do this upasana. This is one meaning if you say the word Manadaha. If you say Manada, it becomes vocative. Oh, respect, reverence giving the Lord, you yourself. So it's an vocative में ये सबको मान देने वाले भगवान. Manadaha, if it is a nominative case, the meaning of it is when they worship you, even Shudra and Stri, you will give them also high position. देखो भारत माता का निरंतर भक्ति से उपासना करो, प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया भी बन जाते. A jiva, when he is serving the world with his individual upadhis, he is becoming Agni, Vayu, Aditya, Mahad Brahma, Apnoti Swarajyam. Are we not studying all these Falashruti in the morning Upanishad? Recognize it. Let us not be dull-witted in this regard as to we have to achieve higher in positions, and what makes us achieve the aradhanas, and we must involve in that. What is said as upasana in the morning is said as aradhana here. So, Stri and Shudra. So, in above, when it is said Varnanam, you can say Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. Now, specifically again, what about Shudra? Shudra also. And Brahmacharya, Vanaprastha, Gurha, Sannyasi is generally mentioned for the men. What are the women? They also. In Gita also, last but one shloka in the 9th chapter. Before saying that, Manmanabha Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru, Bhagavan says, Sri Shudranam Parantapa, what to talk about? Kim Punar Brahmana Punya Bhakta Rajarshyasthatha Anityam Asugam Lokam Imam Prapya Bhajasvamam. Even Shudra Vaishya or the Stri also can get liberated. Shudra Vaishya Stri means what? Stri means dominatingly emotional. Shudra means dominatingly lethargic. Vaishya means dominatingly selfish. The words are given to the characters, the inner character. Therefore, even if a Brahmana has got too much of emotion beyond limit, he is Stri only. If he has got too much of laziness, he is Shudra. And if he has too much of selfish, he is a Vaishya. So if a Shudra is very active, dynamic, intelligent, he is a Brahmana. थोड़ा हमको डिफाइन उन समय में सब सिस्टमैटिकली होते थे विदाउट क्रॉस ब्रीडिंग. अब आज कौन किसको क्या कर रहा है क्या कुछ नहीं पता, इसलिए एवरीथिंग इज क्रॉस ब्रीडिंग. इन एनिमल्स एटलीस्ट दे आर डूइंग सीइंग द पेडिग्री नाउअडेज कंटिन्यूइंग, बट इन ह्यूमन बीइंग्स सब सड़ गया, सत्यानाश हो गया. देयरफॉर वी आर नॉट एबल टू डिफरेंशिएट बिकॉज ऑफ द जन्म. Although by janma and by karma and by guna, the varna ashramas were divided in those days. But now you can't define with janma, you only have to define with karma and guna. So be clear about it. Never ever should be there any vagueness. And if किसी argue करने की जरूरत पड़ती है, we should have all the powerful, correct, logical knowledge to argue them and defeat them. First point of argument regarding varna ashrama is it is universally there, even in animals, in everything, whether it is accepted or not. There are Brahmana animals, Kshatriya animal, Vaishya animal, Shudra animal. The Brahmana animals are all these cows, etc. Kshatriya animals are the tigers, lions. The Vaishya animals are all the goats, वगैरह. Shudra में गधे की तरह कोई बस रहते हैं. So there are everywhere. The birds are there are 4 types. The Brahmana birds are all the hamsa, etc. The Kshatriya birds are some geet, cheel वगैरह. The Vaishya birds, कौवा वगैरह झूठ मूठ वो चोरी करते रहे. There are some Shudra birds also only sleeping. First this logic, then slowly we can develop them. These are for the sake of individual and total evolution only. They are not that way rigid, hard and fast rules to limit one section of people and confine them to some regulations so that they are not given any opportunity to evolve. ऐसी बात नहीं है. ऐसे हमको कभी ऐसा टॉपिक मिला बोलने का तो सारा बोलने का आना चाहिए. And finally, you tell your own example. by my age, by my qualities, I am this, and I am trying to do the best to come to my next level. You also do. In this way बोल सकते. खैर आ जाओ पॉइंट में. ये तद्वै सर्ववर्णानाम आश्रमानाम च सम्मतम. फिर श्रेयसाम उत्तमम मन्ये स्त्री शूद्राणाम च परंतप. Therefore, what he wants to know is Bhagavan's Aradhanas Paddhati of Kriya Yoga to do his Archana. And who are the authority? Narada, Vyasa, Brahaspati, Narayana himself, Brahmadeva, Bhrugavadi Rishis, and Bhagavan Shiva and Parvati. Who are allowed to do this? All Varna, all Ashrama, including the Stri and Shudra. To all of them, what it will give? Shreyasam Uttamam. What is Uttama Shreyas? As I told you, first of all, protection from falling down to worst levels. Second is providing us with all the inner and outer achievements of worldly things. Third is becoming one with the Lord. Fourth is becoming instrument in the Lord, hands of the Lord, in accomplishing His goal through us. Because भगवान को भी इस दुनिया को चलाने के टाइम में, चलाने के लिए उनको भी उपाधियां चाहिए ना. He needs some means. Like you always look for some employees when you are having a firm. So in the entire world called as a world firm, to run it properly, he is also looking for the intellectuals, he is looking for the authorities, he is looking for the traders, he is looking for the servants. With all these four classes only, the world can be run. But the world Lord wants to run in a most beautiful manner. For that, all these four categories people with the best of their abilities, attitudes, the Bhagavan needs. And what is the best ability and attitude is? When we ourselves become aradhakas to Him. बढ़िया हो गया कि नहीं? Very clear. There is no vagueness. This is pakka. And this little vagueness, whatever, it also goes away when we study thoroughly the Upasana Paddhati told by the Lord and practically do it for few years. Few years तो लग जाते, वो भी दिल दिमाग लगाकर करने से. Then you can enjoy it. Next one, the last sloka, Uddhavji says, yeah, this one, Kamala Patra Aksha, the Lord whose eyes are like the petals of the lotus. Very fragrant, very soft, very tender, very beautiful looking. So when the eyes or feet or hands or face even compared with the Kamala, we have to always understand there are two aspects of it. One is Kamala, source may be the mud, but the beauty and fragrance of it is unparalleled. So to wherever we are, we should glow like a Kamala. That is what is the lesson 1 to be learned. Second is Bhagavan's eyes or the feet or the hands or face is like Kamala, means as kind, as compassionate, as tender and as beautiful, benevolent as the lotus petal or the flower. Okay, it has become a standard example. You can say gulab ki tarah, you can say, because every flower has its own beauty. But why add confusion when one thing is said, you follow it? No? You have to develop bhakti to Bhagavan. For that, compare Bhagavan with Kamala Dala. जब traditionally हो रहा है, तो follow करो. And in the Purana also, why did they mention Kamala? Because the Hridaya is compared as Kamala lotus by our Puranas. Sorry, Vedas. Puranas follow the Vedic tradition. In the Vedas, other flowers are not told. Only Kamalam. Therefore, Purana में उसी को ले. फर्क क्या है? If you start with Bhagavan is like a chameli, Bhagavan is like a gulab, he must be champa, he may be genda, he may be karandula. Yaar, anything lagao, sab Bhagavan. But the Kamala, these are its own way. Lord Sun comes, slowly it blossoms. So when the Guru gives the jnana, the inner Hridaya lotus gets opened up. And the blossoming of the lotus in the heart of devotion or experience of Paramatma expresses through all the faculties. Therefore, every faculty appears to be fully blossomed lotus, like in the knowledge, in the wisdom, in the devotion, in the grace of divinity. To indicate all of that, the lotus example is given. लड़ाई झगड़ा मत करना इन छोटे छोटे चीजों के लिए, फिर यहीं फंस जाएंगे. ओके, यहाँ तक हो गया. एतत् कमलपत्राक्ष कर्मबंध विमोचनम. It is very clear. This is the only one which liberates us from all the karma bandhanam. What is the karma bandhanam? In earlier millions of life, as a karta, to get the karma phala to become a bhokta, guided by shastra or misguided by others, or with self-imagination, so many karmas we went on doing. And all the karmas are waiting to give their results to us, because of which we are not able to go toward the divinity. But these upasanas free us from all the karma bandhanam. And generally, when these are karma bandhana, we have to understand them as vasanas. Generally, when there are vasanas, they are called actually samskaras. But generally, in samskaras, there are both good and bad. But in that, generally, the good samskaras are not called as bandhanam. Therefore, bandhanam is bad samskara, bad vasanas only. And what is the badness? Which keeps us into the world through raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, which never allows us to become divinized through the practice of dharma, practice of punya, practice of values, practice of bhakti, and practice of jnana. This is how we have to very clearly define what is the meaning of karma, how it becomes a vasana, and in the vasana and samskara, which vasanas are binding, which samskaras are non-binding or good, we must know. So here, whenever we mention karma bandhana means the powerful vasanas which force us to become artha kama purusharthi, because of the overpowering effect of which even we are denied to understand and practice the dharma purushartha, purgatavad moksha. All that will go away. This is one way. Another way, karma bandha moksha means what? When one becomes great devotee of Lord by practicing all the aradhana paddhatis, or they are as they are going to be taught from the next sloka by Lord Krishna, Bhagavan will see, he will assess and estimate this person's performance of upasana, then he himself will clear off many, many karma bandhanas. भगवत कृपा से भी कर्म बंधन छूटते हैं. Is it like in a jail, he is put for yavat jiva karagara, a life imprisonment. But after 25 years, if his performance in the jail, etc., proved to be absolutely in line with rules, never harmed anyone, lived a noble life inside, फिर उसका वो कम करके यानी 26 जनवरी 15 अगस्त को उसको फ्रीडम दे देते हैं. The president of India has got that. The jailers and all of them report to him and recommend to him. He can be released. So too, from our own karma bandhana, the God being a God, He being Sarva Shaktiman, He can even free us, release us. And that is why always remember, out of karma bandhanas, of millions of lives accumulated samskaras, some go away with our viveka vairagya, some go away with our karma yoga, and many of them go away through anubhava, even in them, some in the waking plane, many some in the dream, and some get burned in the jnana agni, and some of them are removed by kripa of Paramatma. That is why all are required. ज्ञान ध्यान में भी कुछ को जलाना है, भक्ति में भी कुछ को भगवान की कृपा से निकाल देना चाहिए, अनुभव के द्वारा जो खत्म हो रहे जाने देना है. थ्रू कर्म योग आल्सो हैव टू गेट rid of them, through self accepted self discipline also, all put together achieve only these three goals. Goal 1, removing the obstacles called as karma bandhana. Goal 2, tuning to the Lord through bhakti or jnana. Goal 3, reaching Bhagwan. Goal 4, allowing Bhagwan to express through us. In these things there should never be doubt. पक्का डाउट क्यों होता है? ठीक तरह नहीं सुनते हैं, सोचते नहीं है, समझते नहीं है, तो हमेशा वो संशय रहता. सो एतत् हे कमलपत्राक्ष कर्मबंध विमोचनम. That is the way to get freed from karma bandha. Therefore, brewhi. इसलिए प्लीज मिक्स इट इन ब्रू कॉफी एंड सर्व मी. सेम वर्ड अर्जुन आल्सो सेस. गीता चैप्टर 2 सेकंड श्लोक. कार्पण्य दोषोपहत स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म सम्मूढ़ चेताः यत् श्रेयः स्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेहं शादिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम. तो वदा ब्रूहि, द डिफरेंस वदा इज Tell as the way you want to tell. Bruhi means tell the best way by which I understand, accept, get inspired, practice it. बिना कोई चीज का मिस करते हुए आप ऐसा समझाओ कि मुझे मौका ना मिले नहीं समझने का, मुझे मौका ना मिले नहीं इंस्पायर होने का. दैट्स कॉल्ड ब्रूहि. एंड व्हाई शुड आई टेल यू Bhaktaya? See, throughout life, not for proving, but through every activity, I prove to you that I am Bhakta. अरे भक्त है तो भी क्या, क्यों बोलूं मैं? Anuraktāya. See, I am interested in doing this sadhana and clear off whatever the karma bandhan that are there, which are coming between me and my surrender to you. I am अनुरक्त. आप में अनुरक्त हूँ, आप में एक होने का अनुरक्त हूँ, आपसे ट्यून होने का मैं अनुरक्त हूँ, आपका इंस्ट्रूमेंट बनने में अनुरक्त हूँ. इसलिए इन सब को कराने वाले इस आपके आराधना में अनुरक्त हूँ, ऐसा वाला भक्त हूँ. इसलिए प्लीज ब्रूहि. See the clarity in the question of Uddhavji. That itself shows a person's question determines or makes the Guru understand at what level of intellectual genius he is. सवाल से पता चलता है. Is it not? Like even in parliament, even as an opposition party or independent candidate, when he is asking permission from the speaker and putting his own point, in that putting of his point, how much ego in him is speaking, how much frustration in him is speaking, or how much is bhakti for the nation is speaking, how much is concern for the praja is speaking, the speaker can understand. The whole parliament can understand. You understand? You can see it. By the like, you know what's happening today's day. 2 hours, the ED has questioned. Arey bhaiya, the party is not questioned, the person is questioned. Person cannot be the party. Person is never should be important. And you are given a chance to get freed your party from those persons who have never allowed to grow the party or make the party truly Desha Bhakta and serve the nation. But people don't want to understand. They associate party with the person, which is wrong. Party should be higher than the person. And it is so clearly proved that the person used the party as well as power as a government for the personal purposes. And still you are endorsing or promoting that person through all the agitation. How much intoxicated people, that's a sign. यह विचित्र होता है जब आप दुनिया को देखते हो तो. Very, very funny in the world. Anyway, the point is here, मैं भक्त हूँ, अनुरक्त हूँ, आप ब्रूहि. And who are you for me? Vishwa, Ishvara, Ishvara. Vishwa means Sarva. Sarva means all. Sarva Ishvara means there are so many Ishvaras ruling different departments of the world. Different departments which are making the world sustain. Each department have their own Ishvaras. To all those Ishvaras, you are the Ishvara. Like in government also, you have so many departments or whatever you call as the cabinet में portfolios होते हैं. All of them are Ishvara. So Artha Vyavastha Ishvara. Desha Samrakshana Ishvara. Then Videsha Vyavahara Ishvara. Nyaya Ishvara. You know Vidya Ishvara. So to Vaidya Ishvara. Don't have Department of Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Health. Every ministry has got minister. They're all Ishwaras of all those departments. But there is a prime minister to all of them. This is called Vishweshwara. And in the democratic place like India, you have the president also above. So here Bhagavan Krishna is the Vishweshwara, Vishweshwara Ishvara, and Vishweshwara Ishvara is the Parabrahma Paramatma. Yeah, and in him only Bhagavan Krishna is one Rupa, Rama is another Rupa in different Yuga. Keep it in mind. So, Etat Kamalapatraksha Karmabandha Vimochanam Bhaktaya Anuраktaya Bruhi Vishweshwara Ishvara. In other words, whoever are the bhaktas and anuraktas. Bhakti is theory, anurakti is practice. Theoretically, I am your bhakta. Practically, I want to prove and achieve this bhakta sthiti by being anurakta to you through the upasana paddhati, aradhana paddhati, which is called here as Kriya Yoga. To all of them, please reveal this. So we have proved ourselves to be bhakta by studying Bhagavata regularly up to this portion. Therefore, Bhagavan is giving us mauka to become anurakta by giving us this knowledge of how to do his upasana or aradhana. So the Kriya Yoga is a practical tips. Archana is the practice of them. Achievement is aradhanam. Result is his blessing. The blessings are Shreyasam Uttamam. Okay? So, hey Kamalapatraksha, this is what is Bandha Vimochanam from all karma. Therefore, I am a bhakta and I have also the anurakti. Please, Brohi, tell me, hey Vishwaswareshwara. You are the Ishvara of all the Ishvaras. Therefore, you know how to please you. You know how to reach you. And you know how to become your instrument. Therefore, you tell us, you make us also know. Having known, we will practice. To this beautiful question, Sri Bhagavan Krishna gives the answer. Okay. Now, the simple, though we have taken solid 3 days to study these 5 slokas, the essence of it is what? We have to be the Bhakta Paramatma to experience Him as well as to allow Him to function through us. And becoming Bhakta is a systematic, practical practice done by knowing the practical tips. So, those are the things asked by Uddhavji. That is called as Bhavat Aradhanam, Kriya Yogam, uh, Archana. I want to know. Okay. Now Bhagavan says, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. First sentence. Nahi Antaha. First lead the sloka. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. Nahi Anto Nantaparasya Karma Kandasya Cha Uddhava Sankshiptam Varnayishyami Yatavat Anupurvashaha. Nahi Anto Nantaparasya Karma Kandasya Uddhava Sankshiptam Varnayishyami Yathavadhanupurvashaha. There's a big shloka. This again I need 2 hours to explain. ऊपर देखने से कुछ नहीं दिखता, and if you see the literal meaning, it looks to be so simple. But when you read the subtle things hidden between the word sentences, then you will know how many things are put within them by Lord Krishna. The literal meaning of this is what? This karma kanda beated in this in its theory as well as upasana practice. There is no end to them. Okay. And how is it so? Why is it so? Tomorrow we are going to see. And yet, though it is endless for various reasons, behind those endless varieties, what is common thing which is permeating through all of them, that common thing I am going to give you. Basing on that common thing only, as the times passed, as different gurus have come, keeping that common thing intact, each one brought out a variety of karma kanda upasanas. That is how the bulkiness of the varieties that have come in the world. Like the sweet. चीनी से मिठास होता है. So, the good olden days of 100 years back, स्वीट से 1 या 2 आइटम ही बनते थे. But later on, as the people went on developing, how many thousands types of seeds are there all over the world? In that way, with everything. Potato, क्या उबाल के खाते थे बस. I mean, how many hundreds of the ways potato is destroyed? Is it not? थोड़ा सा वो रुई से धागा, धागा से कपड़ा, धोती और ऊपर को पहनते थे. But how many millions of ways of clothing have come to this 6 feet useless body? There's no anta for the way of clothes, variety of clothes. But basically, why the clothes are worn, that I will tell you. That is the meaning. Mainly तो कपड़े अब में वातावरण से इज्जत से बचाने के लिए है. ये दोनों ही है. No other thing purpose of cloth. All other is later on developed commotions. In that case, you can say like that, but in the upasanas, it is not so. The great masters, keeping the changes that are happening in the timings, time to time, keeping the substratum base the same, they gave variety of upasanas appealing to the praja of that time. That is why the endless things have come from the Veda Kala up to now. And all this big subject tomorrow we'll study. Okay. This today we'll stop here. Om Sarvam Sri Krishna Chandra Charana Aravindarvanamastu. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. देखो, if we can give time and mind intellect, in the question of the questioner only, how many depths and details and beautiful points are there? प्रश्नकर्ता जो अज्ञान अविद्या में है, उनके प्रश्न में ही इतना ज्ञान और विद्या है, तो उत्तर देने वाले भगवान या गुरु के उत्तर में और उनमें कितना महान ज्ञान होगा? Is it not? So it is only our becoming subtler and deeper which reveals to us the deeper meanings of all the shastras which are already in them. Okay, चलो थोड़ा समय रामायण पढ़ लेते हैं. हरि ओम. ओम